Hey, it's Gav from Hiking for Health and welcome to another video. Well, today I'm on a bit of a local wander. The weather seemed to be good, so I thought it was too good an opportunity to miss. So I got my boots on and headed out. So today's walk involves a bit of history involving the Knights Templar and also the Romans. So we'll see what that has to offer. And on the way, I've got myself some nice late lunch to cook up on my Jetboil skillet. So off we go. So here we have what's left of Temple Bruer in Lincolnshire. It's been excavated twice, in 1832 to 33 and again in 1908, and it dates back to the 1150s. So here's a computer-generated image of the door I just entered. This one here is the one I've just gone through, and the tower is all that's left of it. So this is a drawing from 1726 that shows what the tower would have looked like, and here the arches were still next to the door. And this is what it would have looked like when it was relatively new. So it seems to be that the original building was 12th century, so 1150 onwards. And then various parts were added at different times. I think this tower that I'm in at the moment is the third date. Apparently this was found in the second excavation in 1908. So I wonder who this slab represented. Right, let's go up these stairs and see what we can see. There's some interesting graffiti around the tower. I mentioned in my Tattershall Castle video about the graffiti there and whether or not you'd call graffiti from 200 years ago historic, or whether it's still, graffiti just like the modern stuff we see nowadays. This gives you a completely different view. So I'm guessing there would have been another floor here. But where did it lead to? So we've gone round here, another floor there. But where's the evidence in the walls of where the floor would have been? Can't see it. So the Knights Templar were shrouded in mystery. An organisation that were, at their height of their power, very rich and a law unto themselves. What secrets does this tower hold? And what was missed during the excavations in 1832 and 1908? Some secrets will be deep buried and gone. If you haven't been to Temple Bruer, it's just off the A15 in Lincolnshire. Well worth a visit. There's just an atmosphere here. If the walls could talk, what would they say? And here you can see some intricate details of the temple still remaining. Some of the very few. So I'm inside this tower at the moment, and when I exit, to the right, there would have been this huge window. But now, when you exit, to the right, nothing at all. And just here, there would have been a huge archway. But all gone now. Right. Time to go and stretch the legs. Somebody's just been and cut the grass, and there's that lovely smell of fresh cut grass in the air. So we now move further back in time from the 12th and 13th centuries, from the time of the Knights Templar all the way back to the Roman occupancy of Britain, AD 43 to AD 410, and I'm currently walking on Ermine Street, which was a Roman road linking York to Lincoln to London. And it passes right through Ancaster, which is close by, which was a Roman fort, a Roman stronghold. And Tony Robinson from Time Team did a great excavation there, looking for evidence of the Romans, and I think they found quite a bit. This part of the Roman road known as Ermine Street, it also forms a section of the Viking Way, which is a trail that leads from Rutland all the way north to the Humber. So I'm starting to build up an appetite. I've got myself a nice bit of rump steak, and I've already buttered the bread. It's a malted bloomer, and I intend to have a nice steak sandwich. I kept some hot sauce from a pot noodle aside, and I'm going to use that with my sandwich. So in the field just behind this old pillbox, over there is where RAF Wellingore used to exist. And it was from that airfield that John Magee, the author of the poem High Flight, which was read by Ronald Reagan after the Challenger disaster in the 80s. It was here that he took off on his final flight and sadly never returned. It's also an airfield where Guy Gibson took off from as well, apparently for the day of his wedding, who was stationed at Woodall Spa as part of the 617 Squadron, better known as the Dam Busters. So it's amazing just how much history you can discover on a local wander. We've had World War II, the Knights Templar, the Romans. So this is the turning that leads to Wellingore along the Viking Way, but I'm going to continue up here on Ermine Street to see if there is anything of interest. So Wellingore village, the history dates back to 1041, 1066. It's the start of the Norman era. And that's where the Knights Templar arrives in the sequence of history. They're saying on this timeline that King Henry VIII and Catherine Howard passed through the village, as well as Charles I on his way to Grantham to muster his troops during the Civil War. History at our fingertips, it's everywhere. Right, I think it's time to get my tea on. So I've just found myself a nice bench and I'm going to get my steak sandwich on. So I'll set the Jetboil up and then get cooking. So I've got the pot support on and the regulator's out. So just a case of setting up with the gas. So the spatula just needs twisting to the side. That pops out. Always do that first before you open the handle. And you open the handle just by pushing these in and pulling it out like that. So this is the steak for today, rump steak. So I'll get this open, get it cooking. Just let that oil heat up a bit. That smells really good. So I'll turn the heat down a little bit just to let it simmer, as I don't want to burn the outsides. So this is great hiking food. Great to be able to grab the Jetboil and the skillet, cook up a steak sandwich and then be on the way with the hike. There's a lovely viewpoint just down here. Right, I think that's nicely done. Spot on. Right, this should sort me out. I'm ready for this. And then I'll continue the hike. Looks like it could be quite a nice sunset. So it was good having the Jetboil for the cooking the steak, but I've taken the easy way out with a flask for my drink. So the Viking Way continues along here, along this path. That's a route for another day, but I just wanted to pop down and see the view. This is known as the Lincoln Edge, a series of villages all along, heading all the way into Lincoln. It's a great walk down there, but that can be for another time. So I've just come down to the Lincoln Edge to see the view. And what a view it is. Well, the temperature's starting to plummet. It's starting to become very cold. So I think I'm going to head back to where I started and end the walk there. So if you've watched this far, thanks for joining me on my hike. And hopefully I'll see you again in the future.